Maybe this is just my opinion, but I feel like mixed martial arts is potentially suffering from a bit of a lull at the moment, a bit of a dip in technical ability across the board. And there are some fighters certainly that stand out as being, excellent still, but I don't know whether it's fighter pay having a knock-on effect. I don't know whether the coaching is just not being passed down from one generation to another. I don't know whether the actual money going into there are a lot of fighters that are trying to raise money to support their training camps and stuff. I don't know whether that's a part of it, but for me, where mixed martial arts should be right now, and the growth of mixed martial arts and the growth of the money coming into mixed martial arts, we should now be starting to see some far more elite level athletes that come in with elite level conditioning, ready to perform in an elite way. And yeah, I don't know. Tell me what you think. Do you feel like there is a dip in mixed martial arts? Do you feel like all of these divisions are the best they've ever been? Is there a division right now that has the best ever champion in it? There we go. That's a conversation. Let's have a look.
Think lightweight maybe.
Potentially. You see, this is the thing, is I would say the lighter divisions are generally very competitive compared to the heavier divisions. I feel like they have sporadic contenders in the heavier divisions. Whereas in the lighter divisions, because I think there are more fighters in those divisions generally across the world, the filtration process to get to the top of those divisions is much greater, Like lightweight, you could fight 5 lightweights in Europe and 5 lightweights in Japan and 5 lightweights in Australia, and you're going to find a killer in every single one of those groups. But you might not be able to say the same thing about women's bantamweight, for example, or men's middleweight, for example, which for whatever reason is another thin weight class. But lightweight is a good example of something that is always just kind of crept on, I'm just thinking, Volkanovski now, same thing. Like, you look at the featherweight division. I feel like featherweight division has held its bar, It's held its quality. I don't know as middleweight has. Welterweight potentially has. Man, I don't know. I don't know whether the guys in the welterweight division back in my day, they just seemed a lot more scary because my wrestling sucked and they were all wrestlers. I think that might have been it. But holy moly, who were the guys in my division? So Thiago Alves, John Fitch, Josh Koscheck. Matt Hughes was still kind of lingering around. They were just they were the ones that, like, Mike Swick, of course, they were just Anthony Johnson. There was some monsters in that division. But then I'm looking at this division now and you go, you got Shavkat and Gilbert Burns and Ian Gary, he's on his way up. I'm disappointed he didn't get the Luque fight remade, though. I think we discussed that on the podcast, didn't we? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know whether MMA is holding its level or whether we're in a bit of a dip at the moment. Same, look at heavyweight. I feel bad for Aspinall because he's kind of a bit drifting, isn't he? Like, he really needs a Jones or a Miocic to come back and just kind of give him that validation in the division. It's a bit like, we talked about Anderson Silva earlier today. It's a bit like Anderson Silva. Carlos Condit, of course. Killer. Came over from WEC. Man, what a left hook. Anderson Silva, right? And we've talked about him quite a bit, but and you've most likely seen the upward elbow knockout finish against Tony Strickland. It was one of my favourite moments to have witnessed live in my entire mixed martial arts experience. And when he transitioned into the UFC and he got that fight against Chris Lieben, just made it look so easy. It was like, okay, this guy's special. But they needed someone to kind of, you know what I mean? They needed to kind of validate him in the UFC because he arrived so quickly at the top. Similar situation to Rich Franklin as well. They brought back Ken Shamrock as a way of kind of adding a name to his record. I feel like we're in that same kind of situation with Tom, where he really needs a Miocic or a Jones to be able for people to look at him and go, right, he's the guy now. 2024, he's the guy. Instead of kind of waiting around and see if Jones comes back. And I don't know. Like, make him the guy, because he is the guy right now. And then if one of the old boys want to come back when Jones's pec's repaired, or Stipe fancies a fight, or whatever it is, yeah, that's just my opinion. Aspinall should be the real champ. Aspinall, I think, is the real champ. I think we all look at him in that way anyway.